Wow. Yeah, that is uncanny. That is uncanny. Yo, I just got the new Slate VSX headphones in, so let's get them unboxed and check them out. All right, so I just got my new Slate headphones in, the new VSX system, the headphone system, and the software. So this is the box that it came in. So let's crack this bad boy open and see what's up. So the box itself isn't that heavy. It's about, I would say probably about 2.5 pounds or so. So it's not that heavy at all, but let's go ahead and crack this bad boy open and see what we get. Yeah, so this is a decent box that this comes in. It has the Slate VSX logo on the front in silver, and it has this sticker on here on the side, of course, with my code on there, the software code that I need. So of course I can't show that, but it reminds me, this little part here reminds me of like the Beats headphones, how they used to come in the box. I don't know if they still come like that or not, but that's kind of what this box reminds me of if you ever had those headphones. But yeah, it's a decent sized box. So let's crack this open and see what we got. All right, so it has the nice little foam here on top, little thin piece of foam, you know, nothing major, just to protect the headphones, looks like. It says pull up, do not discard. So I guess I'm supposed to pull this up. This is the headphones here. Seem pretty nice and sleek. Let's pull this up, and this is my code, the code that it comes on. It has the code and stuff for my download on the back, so of course I can't show that, but it has a little card here with information on the back of the card on this side of the card. All right, let's pull the headphones out of this bad boy. This is the major thing here, so let's see. Okay, yeah, so this looks pretty sleek. Actually, in thinking about the Beats headphones, this is the first thing that this reminds me of, because I have several pair of Beats headphones, the Beats Studio headphones. These are almost like the foam coverings here are almost exactly like those, although I haven't put them on yet, so I don't know how they feel, but this is exactly what that reminds me of, those foam coverings on the Beats headphones. Construction seems okay. They are a little I guess plasticky, so to speak. The cushion here seems like it's pretty good, that it will keep comfortable on your head, you know, if you're wearing this on your ears for extended periods of time. Usual on headphones, you have the adjustment slides here, so that seems pretty cool. Yeah, and this seems pretty cool on the side. This is this Steven Slate audio part here. This is a sticker that you can pull on and off of here. I'm not sure why that's like that. I would think this would be a logo, but this part is ingrained. This Slate VSX, this is ingrained, but this little part here is a sticker. So I don't know if you can see that good, but this is a sticker, so that's weird. Same thing on the other side. So yeah, strange. Let's see if it has labeling for like left and right. Usually you see that somewhere on the, yeah, there it is. So you have right here, if you can see that, that's right. And then on this side you have left. It's there. I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but yeah, that's pretty cool. So the construction seems okay. They do seem sort of cheapish. I would have thought the construction would be a little better, but at the same time, this is, you know, for the price of what you're paying for these are not like, oh my God, top of the line design headphones, at least in terms of the structure here. Maybe the sound and stuff is top of the line, but maybe they cut some corners with the design and stuff on this part so that they could, you know, save some money. So, yeah, that's my first impression so far. So let's get these hooked up. Let's see what else is in the box, if anything else is in the box. Okay, great. You got a case here that you can keep these in. That makes things a little better. If you have to carry these around, you can protect them. Yeah, case looks pretty cool. This is a little inside pocket. These are, oh, this is the aux cable that you can use. Okay, so that's cool. And this is an adapter that it has inside here for the aux cable. So yeah, that's standard for headphones. So, and it has a case which, you know, makes it a little better. You can carry these around because it does seem like if you I don't know if you're hard on headphones, and if you drop these a few times, I get the feeling that something will crack on here. That's just my first impression up on open, but again, they seem really sleek and really nice. We'll check out the sound of them. That's the most important thing. So let's get to doing that. All right, so I've gone through the installation process, which was pretty painless, nothing complicated about it at all. You just link your iLock account and all of that kind of stuff. So that was pretty painless. And I have a mix here pulled up that I'm very familiar with because it's a song that I composed for an artist. And I wrote the song, I mixed it, and I mastered it. So it's very familiar to me, which I think is important. You know, when listening to stuff like this, listen to it with something that you're familiar with so you know what it's supposed to sound like. And you can listen to that in context of these different rooms. Okay, so I've just instantiated the plugin. You're supposed to put the plugin as the last insert on your DAW. So I've instantiated it here, and this is the first thing that comes up, this tutorial. It's a warning that says, do not use the DAW insert bypass for VSX. Only use the level match bypass plugin, which is something they talk about in some of the videos. If you're familiar with this and you've seen the promotion for it, they have videos that say you're supposed to do that instead of turning the plugin off here from your regular bypass. You know, here there's a bypass button here that's grayed out. You'll see when I close this, I'm guessing. So that's how you do that, because there's a level match thing that's going on. Okay, so got it, and let's, oh, there's more. Okay, so position your headphones. Place the VSX headphone ear cups completely around your ears, and then move the headphones slightly up and down on your head while listening to one of the speaker emulations until you perfect the amount of high end. Once you find the perfect spot, tighten the headphone band. Note that wearing the headphones too low or too high can dampen the high, so don't skip this step. Okay, so that's interesting. A lot of companies don't tell you that. That's something that is true, which I think we should all know intuitively. If you move your headphones up or down, you're going to get, you know, a different sound that may dampen some of the sounds and all of that kind of stuff. So that's interesting that they put that here. So let's go on to next. So it says browse rooms and 2SPC. So click this button to view all. This is just a tutorial. Looks like it says browse rooms. Then select the environment you want to mix in. This lets you quickly move between all environments before deciding what speaker mode you want to use. Once you find your ideal environment, just double click or select back to home to go back to the main view. Okay, so that's just telling you how to go through the plugin. Let's hit next. Level match bypass. Yeah, this is this. I'm guessing this is the same thing. So since VSX adds the dynamics of real spaces, the VSX has volume bypassing. Yeah, so this is basically telling you the same thing. To gain or attenuate the level of your level match bypass audio, use the knob. So it's telling you how to basically level match. So that's kind of self-explanatory. Fave 5. Save up to 5 of your favorite mix environments to, oh, that's cool. So you can save, if you make adjustments to whatever these presets are, you can save them. So that's pretty cool. So you can be able to pull them up quickly. I guess that's what this is saying. Next, depth. The depth knob controls the amount of the 3D psychoacoustic binaural effect. Okay, so yeah, that's just saying that what these knobs do, it adds more of the effect. This depth knob, I think that's here, that's grayed out. So next, auto bypass on export. That's a really good thing, because on this I have the SonarWorks reference plugin, and they incorporated, I think about a year or two ago, where they give you an alert when you have that plugin instantiated when you get ready to export your mix or bounce down your mix. And one of the reasons that they added it is because the plugin itself adds these EQ curves that you don't want when you bounce down your mix. So you're supposed to turn it off, but everybody forgets to turn it off. You're mixing for hours and you have this plugin on your mix bus and you forget to turn it off, and then all of a sudden you've bounced down a mix and you have these, you know, EQ curves on it, and you have to go back and do it again. So they put a notification in there, but one of the things that they did was, or one of the problems with the way they did it is that, you know, if you say want to bounce down your mix, you just hit export and then you walk away from your computer. Now what'll happen is the reference will give you a notification, but it's still bouncing down your mix. It doesn't stop the bounce down. So let's say again, you just export your mix and walk away from your computer. You still have that same problem when you come back. So the fact that this is auto bypassed on export, that's a really good thing. You don't have to worry about it. Even if you do that, once you hit the export button, you're done. All right, so click done on that. All right, let's listen to these rooms. This says browse rooms. These are the rooms here. This is very interesting. These are the plug-in emulations or the headphone emulations. I'm very curious to hear about this. I use the 650. I'm assuming this is the HD 650. This is one of the most popular headphones in the mixing industry or the engineering industry. So I'm assuming that this is, you know, the HD 650, and that's my headphones. I have the Sennheiser HD 650s right here. I've used these for about 7 or 8 years now, so I'm very familiar with them. I know exactly how they sound. So I'm really want to see if this is a good emulation of it, but we'll get to that. Let's go through these rooms really quickly. I'll give you my first impression of them. You won't be able to hear the audio because it kind of makes no sense for you to hear it unless you have the headphones. I have the headphones that I'm going to be hearing this, so you have to have the headphones to kind of get a sense of what they sound like. But anyway, again, this is a mix I'm familiar with, so let's go through these pretty quickly and see what they sound like just on this. So I'll start with it bypassed just to kind of listen to the mix and then, you know, turn it on as we go. All right, so let's get this going. Let's see what it sounds like. I'm excited to hear this. All right, let's go. Turn it on. Now that's really interesting. That's NRG Studio, so you can hear. It definitely changes the perspective of your mix. Like, it does sound like your mix is in a different room, and that in itself is beneficial. Even if, like I said, even if these emulations are not like emulations of the exact room, it still sounds like a different room, which is something that's valuable in and of itself. If you take your mix to one of your friends' house and listen to it in their house, hearing your mix in a different room is valuable than, you know, just hearing it in your room by itself. So this one is interesting. It definitely changed the stereo perspective a little bit. It seemed like it's bigger, so you can definitely tell, like from this room where the speakers are kind of sitting up here high on a desk. You can kind of get that feel of it where they're coming at you from there. That's what this room is. So let's move on to the next one. Let's hear what this HOWIE WEINBERG master room sounds like. Start with the bypass and then I'll engage it. Here we go. Turn it on. Yeah. This one is definitely, I'm not familiar with HOWIE WEINBERG mastering studios. I guess if that's studio, but this room looks like it's a smaller room, and you definitely hear that in this emulation. The mix got much tighter, much more compact. Like, it's kind of like right here. A lot of our mixes, we go for, you know, those big wide mixes, which is good, but this kind of tightened it up just to kind of give you a little perspective of it. So the thing that I'm getting from this is that it gives you a more tight room sound versus a, you know, like a bedroom that you may be in, or a bigger room. This is a more tight sound. So again, this is a good perspective to have. Let's move on to the next one, which is the SUV. Now this is a car. Now I see that they have two cars. This is an SUV and this is an electronic car. I'll do these back to back just to kind of compare these first, and then I'll move on to the other one. So let's start with the SUV. So let's see what that sounds like. All right, here we go. Yeah, that's really interesting. So the SUV I'm familiar with the SUV. I have a friend of mine that has an SUV. And you can always hear in the car, in those SUVs, where it sounds like it has a low end bump. For some reason, like it almost sounds like the bass comes up from the floor. That's exactly what I'm getting from this room. Like the bass and the low end in this one definitely got stronger. Started hitting a little harder. It got a little brighter in the high end too. But the most noticeable thing about this one was the sort of bass bump. Now, that, like I said, that is particular to a lot of SUVs. I don't know if they come like standard like that or whatever, but I hear a lot of SUV cars have that sound in it. So that's a really interesting sound. Let's move on to the electric car, hear what that one sounds like. Here we go, and let's bypass, start it. All right, we're gonna turn it on. Yeah, so this one is definitely, this one is a smaller car for sure. You got a more tight sound, like a more tight, small to mid-sized car in this one. This one sounds pretty accurate. It sounds like a car. The only thing about these car presets is that when you're in a car, you're never in the center of the car. So it gives this stereo image is still a evenly spread stereo image. So that makes it kind of not like a car. You know what I'm saying? When you're sitting in the car, you're either in the driver's seat on the left side or the passenger on the right side. And the same thing if you're in the back seat. So you never get that sort of even spread, so to speak. But at the same time, this is it definitely sounds like a car. So this is something that's useful for you to be able to check your mixes in between these two. You definitely get the SUV from this one and the electric car feel from this one. All right, let's move on to the, let's start with the club up here and hear what that sounds like. Let's start with it bypassed and let's go. And let's turn it on. Yeah. Yeah, this definitely sounds like when you walk into a club, probably like a empty club. Not all the way empty, but like like the club opens at 9 o'clock at night and everybody doesn't get there until like 11. This is probably around 10 o'clock in the club. So you hear that, it sounds like a big open space where you hear the club. Most clubs don't have like sound treatment or anything in the club. They have like sheetrock or drywall or whatever on the walls. And you hear that kind of sound bouncing off and you hear that space around you. This definitely sounds like a club, like the 10 o'clock at the club where not a lot of people are there yet, just a few people drinking, and you hear that bump from the low end of the speakers. This definitely sounds like a club. So this one is a really good one. All right, so let's move on to this next one, and this one is called ARCHON or ARCHON. I'm not sure how you pronounce this. Looks like a small studio. So let's see what this one sounds like. And let's turn it on. This one, so what I'm hearing here off top is that this one sounds like it has a lot of more mids. I'm not sure what this type of studio is, but I'm hearing a lot of, it seems like it brought the mix here. Like the mix was here at first and then it brought it here. It tightened it first and then brought it here. So, and usually that's what the mid-range, sort of the upper low mid-range does, which is what I'm hearing here. You hear more of that mid-range clarity here, that's a good thing because that's one of the areas where a lot of people mixes suffer. So I'm definitely hearing it there, and this is definitely a smaller room. So you hear the smaller room sort of preset around it. I think this is a really good one as well. I think it's valuable, especially for that mid-range. And again, keep in mind, everything I'm saying here is my first impression. This is my first time listening to any of these rooms. So I'm sure a lot of this will change over time. So just keep that in mind. This is just my first impression. But let's keep going here. Let's move on to the audiophile room. I'm interested to see, based off the picture, how this is gonna sound. So let's check it out. Let's bypass it and then we'll start. Turn it on. Yeah, you know how something sounds like what it looks like, so to speak? This preset sounds exactly what this picture looks like. It sounds like this is a room, probably with a little bit of treated, things in it, and you got two big boom or sound system almost set up in the corner, and it's coming at you. That's literally what this sounds like. It sounds like the hardwood floor there in this room and everything. Like, that's spot on. I don't even know what this studio is, or if this is just something of, one of the pre-made rooms or something that they listen. It almost kind of looks like a dance studio. That's what this kind of reminds me of, and the mix kind of sounds like that too. Like if you got some big speakers in there, you own a dance studio where you teach dance or something. So that's what this one sounds like. So, okay, so let's move on here. Let's go to the BOOMBOX preset. Now, this one is a small BOOMBOX. So I'm imagining this is something where you can check. This is going to be good for you to check your lows on when you want to hear what your lows sound like on smaller speakers, like laptop speakers and stuff like that. So let's get this one, listen and see how it sounds. It's bypass, and then we'll start it up. And let's turn it on. Yeah, this Yeah, this definitely sounds like you have a little small boombox, and you know how the speakers are like probably about this far apart, so it's not this big stereo range. This preset absolutely just did that in my headphones. So my mix was here and it brought it here. Like these two speakers were almost like right in front of me. You hear a lot of mids because again, in the speakers like this, in a boombox like this, it's not going to be able to reproduce lows really well. So again, this is, as I suspected, this is going to be something that you can check your lows on, your lows and your low mids on, just to make sure that they're even and stuff in your mix. So those are the presets. Now, is that all of the rooms? That's all of the rooms. Now, this is the one I'm kind of really interested in hearing. This, like I talked about, this HD 650. I have the HD 650s. These are my headphones of choice. I love them. I've been using them for 7 to 8 years, and I know exactly what, I'm very familiar with them. I know exactly what they sound like. So I'm gonna see if this matches. So what I'm gonna do first, just to get a reference, I'm gonna unplug the Slate headphones. I'm gonna plug my HD 650s back in really quickly. So let's plug those in. I just want to, get a reference to make sure because I've been listening to the other headphones since I've been doing this. Now let's just kind of recalibrate my ears back to my headphones and make sure what I'm sounding. Let me disengage the plug-in and listen to this mix just to remember. So let me recalibrate really quickly. Yep. I know exactly what these sound like. All right, so let's see, one more time. Okay, I just want to hear something high end. Okay, and then let me plug these back up. Plug the Slate headphones back up. All right, so, and I'm gonna turn this emulation on, and I want to see if these match the HD 650s. So let's bypass it first, and then we're gonna give it a listen. All right, so let's give it a go. Let's hear what it sounds like. All right, let's turn them on. Wow. Yeah, that is uncanny. That is uncanny. This sounds like almost a splitting image of my HD 650s. That's really cool. Now, of course, they feel different on the ear, so that's kind of tanning the sound a little bit. These are closed back, and the real HD 650s are open back. And these have noise cancellation, so it's blocking out everything around them. So that's giving it a little bit of a different feel. But as far as the EQ curve, man, let me let me listen one more time. That's almost spot on. Yeah, now this one, this is something that if I close my eyes, I would think these are my HD 650s, period. Now, that's pretty cool. So I'm wondering, what I'm going to try to do is the SonarWorks reference plugin has a curve for the HD 650. So I'm going to run this through those later just to see if it gives me kind of the same thing that it gives my regular HD 650s, but that's pretty interesting. Now, the rest of these headphones I'm not familiar with. I'll give them a listen really quickly. Just to give my first impressions with them, but I'm not familiar with. I think I've worn the 770s before, but I don't remember what they are. So I'll just give you my first impression on these. Let me go to the M50s, bypass, and start. Turn it on. Wow. So I'm not even sure what the M50 headphones are modeling. I don't even know what headphone that is, but what happened here, let me listen again and describe it to you. A more tight feel, definitely a tighter feel, like a tighter, punchier feel. It almost like it subtracted the mid-range out a little bit because everything got clear. There's a lot of high end in it. Or the high end is smoothed out, but it's there. It's more present. And the low end seems like it got a little bit more punch to it. So that's my impression with that one. Let's do the HD linear. I'm not sure what headphones these are modeling either, but let me just give them a listen. All right, we'll turn them on. That actually didn't do much. This is actually not doing much. It almost sounds like this is... It almost sounds like this preset may be a preset specifically for these headphones. Like it may be balancing these out or something, because it's not... The effect of these is not dramatic at all. It's really, really subtle. Let me see if I can hear it again. And turn it on. Yeah, it seems like it opened up everything just subtly. But this one is definitely not as dramatic as anything or any of the other rooms or anything that I've heard already. So that's interesting. It may be just a preset for these specific headphones. All right, let's try the 770s, the SA7070s. So let's turn it off. And on. Oh, wow. Yeah, this one, like the M50s, is definitely subtracting that sort of low mid range. So you're getting a lot more clarity in here. You're hearing a lot more low end and upper end, and a lot of those mids are subtracted out. I think it's a little less than the M50 preset, but this one is, they're kind of similar. Actually, let me listen to these back to back and see. Okay, so this one, the M50 has... This one has more of the sort of upper low mids, maybe around 1K, 800 or so hertz or something like that. This one almost takes all of that out. All of that sort of 500, 600, 800 hertz, it almost subtracting all of that. So these are both mid-centric for sure. So let's hear the SA pods. I'm not sure if these are emulations of like the Apple pods or something like that. I'm guessing that's what this is. So I have some wireless headphones, but I have Android headphones. I don't have the Apple pods. So let's hear what this sounds like. And let's turn it on. Yeah. It's definitely emulating like AirBuds. Yeah, it's definitely given that, because it's kind of almost subtracted the lows out, because you don't get a lot of low end boost in a lot of those buds. So this is absolutely, I've heard earbuds 100 times, so this is absolutely an emulation for earbuds. So that is all of the presets. I've gone through them. So my first impression on this is I'm impressed. I think it's something that's beneficial, that's going to be beneficial for you as a mix engineer, especially if you have an untreated room and you mix on headphones a lot, or either or. Again, I can't say for sure with a lot of these presets if they sound exactly like the rooms. I've never been to NRG Studio, so I can't tell you. But I don't think that's important. I think the important thing is that you have a different room available that you can hear your mix in. It's almost like being able to take, if you're in your home, you have a home studio, it's almost like being able to take your setup and take it in a different room in your home just to hear what your mix sounds like in the different room, or take your mix over to, you know, a buddy's house or something like that just to hear what it sounds like. So I think that's pretty cool, especially with the studios. The club is preset is spot on. I really like the car plugins. I think that's going to be kind of beneficial to help people to kind of know what their mix is going to sound like in the car. But again, overall, and I'm super impressed with the HD 650 preset. That's the one that I'm most impressed with in this so far. And again, these are just my initial impressions. It's off top. This is probably all going to change once I start using this a lot more and hearing what's going on in the mix and in the room and all that kind of stuff, and do an actual mix on them. But yeah, if you're on the fence about getting this, if you're in the market for some more headphones, you know, and software and stuff like this, Slate is a good company. I have this whole Slate ecosystem. This interface here is the Slate VSX. I got this literally the first day it came out. I have the ML1 microphone. I have the preamp, everything, all of that kind of stuff that Slate has. I have the smaller microphones. I forgot what the name of them because I don't use them that much. But everything Slate offers, I have the whole bundle of plugins, everything. So I'm a little biased when it comes to this. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But again, overall, just looking at it as objectively as I can, I do think it's a pretty good thing. I don't think it's going to be for everybody. I think it's something, or I do think it's for everybody, but I don't think it's something that everybody will use all the time. I don't see this as something, even me, that I will just use, like this will become my standard. I don't see giving up my HD 650s for these, simply out of comfort, and me just knowing my HD 650 so well. I don't see me giving them up. But again, if you need some plugins, or if you need anything like that, you know, some room, a different room to hear your stuff in, this is going to be very valuable. So I say jump in and get it, man. Like it's pretty, for the price what you're getting this for, it's pretty good. I say jump in and get it. So that's my overall first thoughts on this. I'll probably come back and let you know what I'm thinking about it once I give it a, you know, more heavy listen, and we'll see how it goes. So again, thank you for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified when new videos are uploaded, and I'll see you in the next video.